Hello children, welcome to channel Sube. Children, today I am going to discuss question number 41 from the MCQ part of 2021 Physics New Syllabus paper. Two light rays of red and blue color are made to pass separately through a glass prism of refracting in angle 60 degrees. If both rays suffer minimum deviation while passing the prism, which of the following is correct with regard to the angle of refraction of the red ray and the angle of refraction of the blue ray at the surface of incidence of the prism? So R red is greater than R blue, R red is less than R blue, R red is equal to R blue, not equal to 30 degrees, R red equals to RB equals to 30, R red equals to RB equals to 60. So children, let us discuss what happens to the white light if it is fallen on a glass prism like this. What happens to this incident ray? The colors you can see colors, that is called dispersion. So like this, dispersion. So red light bends a little with a little angle, but blue, the deviation is larger for blue light. So you should remember that to answer this question. So I think you know, because from class 10 and 11 even they teach this dispersion of light like this. The red light, if you place the screen here like this, you can see the red patches above the blue patches like this. So that means the deviation of this blue is larger, deviation of red is smaller, less than blue. So they talk about in this question minimum deviation. What is minimum deviation? So again let us draw the diagram. So minimum deviation means if rays fall on a prism like this, it bends, it has a deviation like this. So deviation is the direction of the incident ray, it is to this direction, a dashed line I draw to show the direction to this way. So the emergent ray is this one, so this angle is called deviation. So it has different values for different incident angles. If we change the incident angle like this, like this, like this, we can increase like this. So what happens to this emergent ray? That also change like this and like this, but it doesn't go to zero. It doesn't go to zero. This one is zero. It doesn't go to zero, but somewhere around this value, about it is about 37 for a glass prism normally. So that also change. You must have learnt the graph is like this, that we called DI graph, DI curve. So we take that angle D to the y-axis and the incident angle, that is this one, I, to the x-axis. So when we change this angle, we measure what is the D value observed. So the graph is like this. It has a minimum like this, somewhere around 37 normally. So this is the deviation. This one is the deviation from the y-axis. You read the deviation, that is normally 37 degrees to a certain I value. So there is a certain I value. So this specific deviation is called capital D, that is the minimum deviation, what they discuss in this question, minimum deviation. So when we reach this minimum deviation, the ray is symmetric. The ray passes through the prism symmetrically. Symmetrically means like this. Like this. Symmetrically means if the prism is like this, the ray doesn't go like this, doesn't go even like this. Symmetric means exactly left and right parts are equal, the angles are equal. So that means parallel to the this third edge, parallel to this third edge. So this one is first edge, second edge, third edge. So parallel to this third edge. So the ray in the prism is like this. So these angles are equal. If this one is theta, this one also must be theta. That is what the lesson says. And also these sides also, when it leaves the prism, the emergent ray also has a certain angle. This one is the normal to this H2, it is perpendicular. So this one is the normal to the H1. So let us extend it until they cross each other, because this angle we need. So this side also has the same angle, this side and this side, because symmetrically the ray passes through the prism. That is the lesson. So if this one is I, this one also is equal to the same I. If it is 30, this one also 30. So this one, if it is R, this angle also same R, but only that happens at this state, minimum deviation. At minimum deviation, this is what you can see. So children, this is the minimum deviation state. So how to find out the angle, the deviation angle? So we have to extend this incident angle, incident ray, to show the incident direction. So like this is the incident direction. So the angle between the incident direction and the emergent direction is the so called deviation angle. So this one is the angle of deviation. So simple D, this one, this angle. But since I have drawn this diagram so that this ray in the prism is parallel to this third edge, that means symmetric. So I have drawn it symmetrically. Therefore, this the specific state is equal to the minimum deviation state. So now these rays are passing through the prism at minimum deviation state. So let us discuss other. So we are talking about this point only now. So this incident angle is something around 48 degrees at this time for a normal glass prism. Whose angle is 60 degrees. So this angle is normally 48 degrees. So this one also equal to 48 degrees. This one is equal to what? You should know the derivation to do that. If this one is 60, you should know this one also 60. That is geometry. So these angles are equal. Since these angles are equal, we can write the external angle 60 must be equal to the inside angles R and R plus R. So 2R equals then 60, then R equals 30. So now we know at the deviation is minimum deviation, the refracted angle is 30. Now we can write it here 30, this one also 30. So I said this one is 48. If we discuss then I have to I was trying to explain this value, so that is 48. So this one is 37. So there are a lot of other d values for this prism. Other d values means these points, we have to discuss these points even, these points. So they have d values like this, say this one, something higher than 37, say 42. That is a simple d value, that is not a capital D. Capital D is the minimum value we call capital D. So that is the minimum deviation, but we are now talking about in this red color not the minimum deviation, the other higher values. So all these other deviation values, has two incident angles like this, so we call them I1 and I2. So let us draw the diagram for this red color state. That means not the minimum deviation, other than the minimum deviation. What happens? The ray doesn't go symmetrically like this, because this is not the minimum deviation I am going to draw, other than the minimum deviation state. So it may be like this. What should be? It should be higher. The deviation should be higher here, 42. To get a higher deviation, it must bend at the first refracting point much than that, like this. Then only it can get a higher deviation value. So like this I have to draw, not symmetrically. If it were symmetrical like this it should be, but I draw like this with a bigger deviation angle at the first point. So I take I have to take the now incident angle something less than 48, because according to this graph I am drawing this red color one, so less than something 48, this one. So I take it here like this, some value less than 48, because that is how it explained in the graph. If it were the capital D value, it should be it would have to be 48, but now we are drawing this red color, so it is less than that. Therefore I draw the incident angle less than 48. So here it should go again bend like this. So this angle what should be? So I said this one is less than 48, say 32, suppose 32. So this one I can mark therefore 32. Exactly we can't say, we have to calculate, just I am taking these examples so that you can understand it. So this is the first I, we say I1. So I2, this one is the I2. There are two I values. For all other deviations there are two I values. Only for the minimum deviation it has a single I value. It doesn't have two I values. At the minimum deviation it has only one I value. So this I2, suppose something more than greater than 48, so let us say 55. So it is this angle may be 55 or something like that, greater than 48. So this one we called I2, this one is I2, this angle. So but if it is minimum deviation, it has no two values called I1, I2, because I1 equals I2, therefore we take without 1 and 2 just I. So R also same. If it is minimum deviation, R1 equals R2, that we write as R without 1 or 2, because it is 30. If the angle of the prism is 60, it is 30. So these are the conditions if it is minimum deviation. So you should know these things. If it is not minimum deviation, there are two values for I, and the deviation angle is this one. It is going to be this one. So this one is the angle of deviation. So that is not capital D, it is a simple D values, because we are talking about deviation other than minimum deviation. So we are here. So deviation is 42, that we have assumed as 42. So we have to mark here, this is 42. This angle is 42. According to that, these are the two I values. So in the graph, those values can be seen like this at the both sides of this I value, which is specific for this minimum deviation. So children, deviation is like that. So what they ask is, at the minimum deviation point, what are the relationship between red and blue rays, the angles of refracted angle. So whether it is red or blue, now let us go to colors. I explained the normal lesson without discussing colors. So if we consider the red ray, whether it is red or blue or whatever the color, doesn't matter. If it is the minimum deviation state, the ray through the prism must be symmetric to the prism or parallel to the third edge, like this. So therefore let us draw normal lines to this first surface, perpendicular. So this is the normal, and also this one is the normal to the blue line, blue ray. So this angle, now you can guess what is this angle. This one is the R value. So if it is perpendicular, if it is parallel, if it is symmetric, we can say it is this value, because this line also, this ray also symmetric, parallel to this third edge. So the R value must be 30 therefore. So for this one also, since it is symmetric and parallel to this third edge, this R value must be 30. That is the R. So R value must be 30. What they ask again, R value for blue and red. Yes, for then we can write for blue and red. So this R value for red equals R value for blue. Let us write in blue color. R value for blue color, blue, and both are equal to 30. So this is the condition if it is the minimum deviation. If it is the minimum deviation, whatever the color, it doesn't matter for R. It doesn't matter for R, because R is determined by this angle of prism, capital A. So that is given as 60 until it is constant, because how do you get this 30? You have to extend like this in the normal lines, and you learn in the classroom that this angle also equal to capital A. So these are equal since symmetrical. So I explained, I think here, yes, I explained that how we get it, 30, the value 30, how we get it. So like this, r plus r equals 60, that is the angle of prism. So 2r equals 60 and r equals 30. So this is the condition. So let us try to select the proper answer. So I think this one, fourth one, let us check 41, fourth one, yes, 41 fourth one. So children, I think you can understand it. I explained everything. I recall the lesson, and I explained even other than the minimum deviation. So this is how this problem should be solved. So in 2 minutes you can solve it. I explained other things, that is why I took some more time. So you can answer easily in 2 minutes. Just you have to draw this diagram only. You have to draw this diagram only. So children, now let us do some target questions. I have designed some target questions for you. So children, here is my target question. So you have to pause the video. Don't watch my answer, how I solve it. Without looking at that, without watching it, you have to do it, this one on your own. So now pause the video. I think you have finished. So I am going to solve this problem. So now they are asking the relationship between incidence angle of incidence. So the same state, minimum deviation is state. So red ray is like this, blue ray is like this, symmetrical to the prism. So normal perpendicular to the surface, normals are like this. Then red light bends a little, because we discussed that at the beginning itself. Blue light bends much. So imagine now the ray is coming out of the prism this way, from inside the ray is coming like this. So when it is going to air, it should bend away from the normal like this. So when the color is blue, so it must bend more than the red one. So therefore this angle is greater. This one is I blue, this one is I red. So children, what is this angle? Still it is 30, because the angle of the prism didn't change, it is still 60. So this one also 30, because still minimum deviation is state. So if the state is still minimum deviation is state, the angle in the prism is 30 always, whatever the color. So now we can write, first of all, the blue color, incident angle of blue color is greater than that of red, because you know red color bends a little bit, but the blue color has a higher angle. And also this angle must be greater than this 30, because if I extend this line, because now we are going from a denser medium to a rarer medium, denser medium to a rarer medium we are going, because we are going from inside to outside. So like that we can reverse the ray, because there is a principle called the reversibility property. So if I extend using a green color this ray, it goes this way. So if this one is 30, let us use black color. If this one is 30, if this one is 30, what is 30 here? Front of this angle, exactly front of this angle, this one is 30. This one is the opposite angle to this one. So I is something more than that. This one is I. So I must be greater than 30. So we can write here now not only I of R, even blue. Somehow blue is greater than IR. Blue is greater than red. So if the angle of red is greater than 30, however, the blue one also greater than 30. So let us discuss again the blue one. So if I extend the line like this, the blue one was coming from this way, so this angle was 30. So what is the opposite angle to this one? It is this one. So this one is 30. You can clearly see now blue angle is greater than 30. Blue angle is greater than 30. So therefore blue angle is greater than 30. Red angle also greater than 30. So the answer should be blue, red, 30, this one, the fifth one should be the answer for this question. So what do you think, children? My target question is better, good, isn't it? So if you are if you have solved correctly, if you have received the same answer as 5, you can be happy. You are a genius. You are a genius student. So let us go to the target question 2. So children, here is our second target question. So you have to read the question and try to find out the answer without my help. Pause the video, don't watch the video. Now pause the video. So children, I think you have selected the correct graph. So now I am going to explain. So they haven't said here the deviation is the minimum deviation. So just they say deviation D is measured with I to plot a DI graph. So they have drawn DI graphs, you can see. So let us try to draw the DI graph therefore. So we have to draw the previous diagram again. Yes, red ray, then blue, then normal. So red ray bends a little bit, has a little angle. The blue one has a great angle like this. So if this one is the minimum deviation, if it is the minimum deviation, so the diagram is like this. Diagram is like this if it is the minimum deviation. That means capital D of red, let us use black color. capital D of red color is smaller than, less than capital D of blue color. So that means we have to now check that in the graph. We have to check that in the graph, because even though they have asked other than capital D values, the capital D value must be there in the graph. The capital D value is this one, the lowest one, this one. So let us check it first. The blue one should be greater. That means the graph blue should be above the red one. So here D of blue is greater. The red one is here, that is less than that. So this one is correct. If capital D value of blue is greater than red one is here, the capital D value is this one. This one is the capital D value, the minimum. That is here blue is at a higher point, so therefore this one is correct. This one also is correct. Blue is above the red one. This one wrong. Blue is below the red one. So the capital D value of blue is this one. Capital D value of red is, according to the graph, this one. But it can't be higher than blue one, because we have decided arguing like this. Capital D value of blue should be greater, because it has a higher bending ability. That is why. So therefore this one is wrong totally. And also red is above the blue. This one also wrong. Now let us check the I value. I value means this value. This axis we are going to now consider. So I value of red is smaller. I value of blue is greater. I of blue is greater than I value of red. So in this graph, the I value at capital D place here, this I. At capital D place, minimum deviation place point, so of red is this one, I red. So our condition is this one. I red should be less, smaller than IB. So here I is greater, so therefore this one wrong. Let us take our condition closer to the graph. So let us check now this one. I value of red is here. You have to get the minimum D point like this. It is changing, so this one is the minimum point. So I of blue is here. This one is greater, this one is smaller. So condition is fulfilled. So this one is correct. Here the red has this place I, and also blue has the same, same. They have shown the same. So then it is not fulfilled, the condition is not fulfilled. So therefore this one is wrong. And now we have choose the correct answer. It is this one, the third one. Third one is the answer for this one. So children, if you have successfully chosen this graph as the correct one, after arguing like this, not just randomly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not like that. If you have correct with arguments, if you have chosen that this one is correct, you are genius. So children, let us wind up for today. I think you are happy because I explained the original MCQ question, the 41, number 41, and also I explained, I gave you 2 target questions, and I showed you how to solve those target questions as well. So children, if you are happy, don't leave the page without subscribing my channel. If only you haven't still subscribed my channel, please do it. If only you haven't subscribed my channel, don't subscribe twice. Then press the bell icon and also press the thumb up icon and share my link among your friends also. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.